Here is one my father has told people every time someone brings up demons or paranormal activity. Rural area in Maine. There is an old abandoned house in a field away from a back road outside of town. Sometimes you can see it from the road. Sometimes it is not there at all. One night, when my father was in his 20s, him and a couple of his friends went to explore the house and see if any of the rumors were true. The house was supposedly cursed with black magic. Town officials held seances in the basement and sacrificed animals and people in an attempt to gain dark power and summon demons. It being invisible sometimes is also a rumor. It's there. Does not seem magical from a distance. As my father and his three friends start walking up the porch, my father is filled with a flight or fight response that unnerves him deeply. Guys, what if there is hobo junkies or a predator animal? We gotta at least open the front door, man. Don't be a pussy. One of my father's friends, Dan, is leading the four of them. As he creaks open the door, he winces in disgust. Oh man, it smells horrible in here. As they gather in the entry room, my father smells it too. It smells like a rotting corpse, something he had experienced in the woods when he was younger. Dead deer. His spidey senses are going fucking nuts. Leave, 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 leave. Go, 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 go. Guys, we should just leave. This does not feel right. Relax, man. It's probably a dead raccoon or something. My father notices there is random chicken wire all over the house at first glance, like some critter used to live in the house, and the chicken wire kept it from going where the owner did not want it to, but it is set up tall, human height. One of the guys says, "What the fuck is with this fencing shit?" The same dread my father has been feeling suddenly hits the group. Something is rustling and moving upstairs. Dan says, "Fuck it, let's go see what that is, and then we will leave." The staircase is at the center of the building, with walls on both sides. All anyone can see upstairs is off-white wall with some water stains. Dan starts going first. My father is in last place at the bottom of the stairs. He looks toward the kitchen and notices some of the chicken wire has long black hair on it. Too long to be any animal he's ever heard of. He looks back to the stairs as Dan is finally reaching the top. Dan, the courageous tough guy, peeks to the left and stops in his tracks. He turns around, white as a ghost. He is hyperventilating and starting to cry. We need to. Everyone starts running for their lives before he can even finish his sentence. My father is the first one out of the building, and as the others follow, Dan starts shouting, "Run, run, run, get back to the fucking car." As they pile in and leave in a panic, Dan is now crying like a baby. What the fuck did you see, man? Now trying to choke back tears in a state severe post-trauma distress, Dan starts struggling to describe what he saw. It was like a fucking pig, man. A giant fucking pig. What the fuck? He snaps a bit, but it was a dude walking like a person with hair and shit. He starts really sobbing and breaks down a bit. Its fucking eyes, man. It was like stealing my soul. It had no fucking eyes. He just keeps crying like a baby as everyone sits in bewilderment. They never speak of it again, too terrified of what is even happening at the house. My father says years later, Dan took his own life after a long downward spiral that started that day, as if it really did steal his soul. He can't sit through any media related to pigs or demons without feeling deeply unnerved, like when he first started walking up to the house. I have the body of a pig utterly terrifies him as well. He refuses to ever watch it again. Jesus fucking Christ, best story so far. Any idea exactly what rural area of Maine? Sorry it took me so long to respond. Somerset County, somewhere in the woods between Skowhegan, Madison, and Norridgewock. My father intentionally refuses to tell anyone exactly where it is, out of fear that he may be sending someone to their death. whether it be through a demon or people crazy enough to fake a demon. Route 201 in Skowhegan has a road sign facing east, advocating the local municipality that's just a straight up inverted pentagram for a symbol, with wholesome pictures in each point, so the satanic cult theory might be true. I can't find any pictures of it online, but I'm sure you can find it in road view in Google Maps. I have seen it with my own 2 eyes as well, and thinking about it makes my stomach turn. The people in leadership in Somerset County are so psychotic and selfishly ego-stroking that I have half a mind to say it really is cursed with satanic magic. Everybody in Maine hates Skowhegan and the surrounding area as well. It is fucked in a way that can only be understood by living there. Want to share my one paranormal experience. Before that, let me set the scenario to let you understand why I did what I did. Had an asshole of a stepfather, Todd. Hated that motherfucker. Todd ran a framing company. They do the wood bases for houses. Todd had me doing menial work for his company since I was 13 years old, fetching the tools, finishing details on hard to reach spots, etc. Finish the week, get 5 whole dollarinos, menial pay for menial work. Todd would say he could not pay a kid more, since I should not even be working there. Then why even have me there in the first place, Todd? 6 days a week, I was in the construction site, off the school bus. Mom drove me to the day's work site. I would rather be at home doing kid stuff. I told Todd as such. Todd would then give me this spiel about how I was being so lazy, and without him giving me work ethic, I would end up as a bum, that I was entitled and wanted everything just given to me, and my mom ate that shit up. Todd was verbally abusive and would lay on me the most vile shit. Whenever I screwed up at work, frequently, Todd would publicly humiliate me. "You're a little shit, Anon. You think I'd send you home for fucking up? You want to sit on your ass all day, do nothing with your life, etc, etc. I would be crying there while the whole work crew watched." Last leg of setup. The year was 2009. B16. Graduated from menial work to heavy labor. Still get shit pay because Todd insists he is doing me a favor by giving me work. Have no social life because Todd would have us stay after hours to finish up. I have years of hatred for Todd bottled up and ready to burst. Culminates to high noon March day. We'll never forget that day. We fucked up our nail gun machine. I hate using hammers and do a shoddy work. Todd arrives to see my shitty hammering. "Anon, what is this shit?" Here it comes. "You are beneath useless, Anon. You must be some stupid animal. Look at the shit." At some point, I can't hear him anymore. My mind goes blank. Suddenly remember I have a hammer in my hand. Don't even need to think about it and throw a swing. Todd collapses like a sack of potatoes. Consciousness returns to me. I see half the work crew looking at me. I stand motionless, hammer still in hand, until the police arrive to take me. I am put in this room, and the police people ask me questions. I didn't even think about it, officer. Just happened in the spur of the moment. Waste a bit in the holding room. Detective comes and says, "Your dad died, kid. You're a murderer now." Since it's murder, it's decided that I will be tried as an adult, but since I was a minor, I get assigned a caseworker, Mr. Paul. Mr. Paul was legit the only person who cared about me during that time. He came in every day to make sure my jail period was at least comfortable. He walked me patiently throughout the procedure. He explained my legal situation better than my public defender ever tried. He tried his best to get me connected to my mother, although she did not care. Mr. Paul let me know that I was not a bad guy. I was just an impulsive kid, and I sobbed to him everything that led up to that day. The few weeks I had with him were the only positive parts I had in those dark moments. Mr. Paul did his best, and I admire him for that to this day. Anyways, my preliminary hearing arrives. No sympathy for me, given how I killed a pillar of the community. Public defender advises me to just plead guilty. Fuck it. I just want whatever is coming to me at this point. Guilty, Your Honor, and I get lost in another transitionary period. Then finally, land in a correctional institution where I would rot for the rest of my life. Fast forward to my 20th birthday. In Maine, you have a visitor. Who the hell can it be? My mother and half-siblings hate me. It was Mr. Paul. I break down sobbing. How is it going, Anon? I hate it. I hate every day I'm alive. Heart to heart, Anon. Do you truly regret your actions? I do. I truly regret killing my stepfather. Anon, did you learn from your mistakes? I did, Mr. Paul. I learned that mere seconds of thoughtlessness will lead to a lifetime of prison. Anon, given the chance to try again, would you do the right thing? Of course I would, Mr. Paul. I would not screw up again. I know you won't, Anon. You're a good kid. Shut my tearful eyes, and when I open them again, I am no longer in prison. Suddenly, found myself in that day, unmistakably. It's been vivid in my memories for all these years. Nostalgic wooden smell and power tool sound. I am clutching the hammer, standing in the same spot. Todd arrives to see my shitty hammering. Anon, what is this shit? Here it comes. You are beneath useless, Anon. You must be some stupid animal. Look at this shit. I drop the hammer. I out loud say, no, you won't make me a murderer, Todd. Todd then realizes he was shitting on a person with a hammer in his hands. I leave the worksite, walk my ass home. The whole time, I am praying that I won't be whisked back to my prison cell. Arrive home. I pack all my stuff in a few garbage bags, leave. Spend a few months crashing between a few close friends. Did my best to pull my bootstraps, got an honest paying job. Every time Todd and my mom would find me, they would berate me to get back home, and he would verbally abuse me about mooching off my friends. But every time, I would never give in. I finished high school while living in my own car that I bought with my honest job. Todd smeared my name around town, so I found myself moving to another town. I am 30 years old now. I put myself through technical school. I have my own family, which I support with my union job. I have a home I built up from a fixer-upper on my own. I guess I wasn't a lazy fuck after all, Todd? I don't know what to make of my ordeal. Sometimes I jolt up from nightmares where I find myself in prison again. I rue the day I returned to my cell, just the same as I got myself out of there. One moment out here, then another, suddenly back to where I was sobbing to Mr. Paul. Some days, I mentally thank Mr. Paul for what he's done for me. I believe, in a sense, that Mr. Paul might be God who came to me. Thank you, Mr. Paul, whatever you may be. I owe you the rest of my life. I promise, I won't squander it. Okay, not sure if you would consider this paranormal or not, but here I go. My friends and I were practicing where we usually practice, in our drummer's barn-style garage. It was like a barn set away from the house, but it was converted into a garage, which was now vacant, and his drums were set up in there. The structure was about 150 feet away from the drummer's house, and it was about 120 feet into the woods. These estimates are fairly accurate because we had two 100-foot extension cords from the main house to help us power our amps and stuff. The garage only got 2 plugs when it was converted from a barn. So, it's fall, and it is about 10:30 p.m., so it was dark. There were 5 of us in the barn garage structure. Ed was the vocalist and played rhythm guitar. Lucas was the drummer. Alex played lead guitar. I was the bassist and did backing vocals. Helena was Alex's girlfriend. Sometimes she messed around on the synth. At the time, we were all around 16 to 17. The only ones who could drive by themselves were me, Ed, and Helena. Lucas spoke little English as he just moved to the US that year. We are in the middle of a song and the amps are all cut off, but the lights stay on. Sometimes the extension cord is trolled by someone and we have to reconnect it. But as soon as the amps go off, we can hear this terrible noise, like a possessed animal or something. It did not sound like a bear or wolf or coyote, but we heard fast, thundering steps. It sounded like a four-legged creature. The thundering steps disappear, so Ed and I go and check it out. We walk out a bit and find one of the cords was disconnected. So, we reconnect and turn around to go back to the shack, and another one of those screams echoes through the woods. Sounded like something was being tortured, so we make a beeline for the shed, which we can see some light through one of its 3 windows. We get inside, and they heard it too. "Ah shit," Lucas says, and points to the floor from behind his drum set. Ed's shoes and my shoes left bloody partial shoe prints on the floor. Everyone is just in shock, and eventually, Lucas comes over and kneels down to give it a closer look. "This is blood, man," he says, with his funny accent. We are all silently studying the blood when Alex slams on his guitar and gives us a good jump. "Where is the blood?" Lucas asked. Me and Ed started to lead them out the door, and I told Ed to watch the instruments while I showed the rest of them the path we took, using a flashlight to watch the ground. There was nothing until we got to the point where the 2 extension cords meet. There was a little pool of blood next to it. Ed called out, "Hey guys," from the shed, so we ran back to him, and he said that there was a light flickering deeper into the woods. We locked up the instruments in the shed and turned the lights out, and then walked out in the direction he told us, and just boom. After walking down out of sight from our garage, there was a heap of bloody something amidst all the trees. Our little flashlight could barely illuminate it, so we walked up closer. The bloody heap was a deer of decent size. It had not 1, but 2 arrows sticking out of it, one in the rib area and another in the back leg. Oh yeah, it was decapitated. Huge puddle of blood was coming out. Lucas reached out and touched its empty neck hole, then wiped the blood off on a tray. We hear some rustling in the bushes nearby and take off. We get in sight of the barn and stop to catch our breath. Helena is all frantic and swears that she saw lights in a little circle pattern in the bushes. We had no clue what she meant at the time, but we later concluded that it was some sort of night vision device. We are about to go back into the garage, and Alex holds up the light so Lucas can see the lock on the door. An arrow is stuck in the door. At this point, we were just about done. Alex and Helena were the first ones to start running towards the house, but I yelled after them, "Hey, what about the instruments?" I had Ed on board immediately. "Grab my guitar for me," Alex shouted back. Well, Alex ran away with the flashlight, so Lucas plucked the arrow out of the door and fondled it until he could find the lock and unlock it. We get it. Nothing is out of the ordinary. I grab my bass, zip it up in a bag, grab my 30-pound amp, and sling Alex's guitar in his bag over my other shoulder. Lucas covers his drums, and Ed grabs his guitar and amp. I have Lucas carry Alex's amp. While we were inside, a bright light shines in through the window. A car pulled up as close to the forest as it could, and the high beams were illuminating the garage, shed, barn, shack thing. Alex and Helena jumped out of the car and walked towards us. Alex grabbed his equipment and loaded it in the trunk. Helena reeled in the extension cords and put them in the shack. Helena and Lucas were locking up, while me, Ed, and Alex were loading up in Helena's car. That car was packed and only had room for 3 people, and even then, the people would have had to have the equipment on their laps. It was Helena's car, so she was driving. Alex got shotgun, and it was between me, Lucas, and Ed who would get the last seat on the first car out. "One of you guys go," Lucas said. I decided to stay with him and let Ed go. I reached into my pocket and pulled out my little pocket knife. Lucas still had the arrow he pulled out of the cabin. The car pulled away, and we were about to make a run for it when Lucas pointed out a set of lights in a circle. Alex did not give us the light before he left. Lucas chucks the arrow like a champ, nailing the area just beneath the circle of lights. The lights do not move. I throw a rock at it. It is stationary still. So, I have my knife and I walk up to it. It is attached to the tree. It is a camera with night vision pointed toward the shack area. Lucas retrieves the arrow he threw. We go back to the shack and grab the last of the equipment, pedal boards, mics, etc., and start booking it back to where Helena will meet us. We get there before she does, but she was already on her way. Get in back seat with pedal board and a bunch of equipment. The grass is really bumpy in the car and really uncomfortable when amps are falling on top of you. Looking at the arrow, it is more of a ceremonial type than a hunting one that we saw in the deer. Drive back to the other cars. Some small drops of blood on the driveway. We conclude the deer must have run there when it was injured. Head was never found. We sit there and talk a bit. We conclude some redneck hunter set up those night vision hunting cameras in the woods and hunted down that deer and took the head as a trophy. The arrow on the door was definitely not a hunting arrow. Lucas tells his mom about the arrow in the door. His mom is like, "Oh, that's a pretty cool discovery." We went home and never had anything like that happen again. We thought maybe the deer led him that close to human territory, but that would not explain the deer cameras already set up. Lucas still has the arrow. I can see if I can get him to send me a picture if you guys need proof. We decided the arrow was a troll thing, or maybe a thank you present for letting him hunt on Lucas's backyard. It is pretty cool, like there are like beads and fur on it, not a camouflaged hunting arrow. Here is something that happened to a friend of mine. Go to Bali Island with some friends. Place is known for Hindu mysticism and superstition. Go to some kind of park in the city. Lots of nice sculptures, bush hedges, concession stands, etc. You get the idea. The group takes a path that leads to a lesser known area of the park. There is a statue of a Hindu goddess. No plaque, no name, nobody knows who it is. Made out of black stone. She is stepping on a decapitated head. She is grinning naked with teeth bared, probably Kali. Group is kinda spooked, laugh nervously. Leave the park, think nothing of it. For the rest of the vacation, there were a series of minor incidents. A couple got to fighting, someone caught fever, stuff like that. Someone who can see things said that something is following them. Vacation over, my friend flies home. Days later, is still spooked, decides to see a mystic, tells Mystic the story. Mystic says you should not have laughed at her. Everything is fine now. Later on, we figured out the name of the goddess, but I've forgotten. Based on the description, it's probably some variant of Kali. Yeah, I told you. Back in 2011, I was locked in my barracks room and being forced to not drink for 3 days. I was drinking a 1.75 liter handle of liquor every night for like 5 months straight. I had sleep paralysis for 3 nights straight, and every time it happened, a dark figure would pull me off of my bed by one of my ankles and slowly move my body upward until my face was looking directly at him. The first 2 nights, I managed to wake myself up before looking into his face. The 3rd night, it brought me up to his eye level even though I was trying so hard to wake up. And then my surroundings turned black/white, as in my barracks room was the same, but all in black and white, except for 2 things. An orange and ominous glow out of the window, and his face. It was pure blackness, like so black and dark that I could not comprehend it. Like, it was the blackest shade you could imagine, times 1,000,000. I can't explain it, but the color of it under the hood it was wearing was all I could see, and it scared me for weeks. I was afraid to see it again. Never did have that encounter ever again, and have not drank since. Man, I hope this didn't happen in Korea. I've never had my eyes open in sleep paralysis, so I just see shapes and feel colors or something. It's hard to explain, but it's like I'm floating in the universe, and I am the universe at the same time. Usually, everything feels warm and numb, but dark colors come and go, and shapes do as well. Well, this one night in Korea in my barracks was different. I opened my eyes somehow, and saw clear as day an old Asian soldier sitting by my barracks window. Looked like clothing from maybe the 50s. Before I had time to even feel terror, this guy took off his hat and ran into my bathroom. Then he kept peeking around the corner and would look at me. His eyes were full of terror, and every time he peeked at me, he would whisper, "Jongji." At this time, I was able to read and write Korean, and the stop signs said this word, so I knew it. It means halt, so stop, but more formal or militaristic. I don't know what he wanted me to stop, but he did this slowly every few minutes for a while, until I saw a blue light glowing in my bathroom, and then I was able to move. No joke, I vomited right after and overslept. I was almost late for PT. Luckily, my platoon sergeant was wasted the night before, so we ran around the block and did stretches for an hour, but yeah, terrifying. Never happened again. That was the single time my eyes opened during my sleep paralysis. I have one. My dad told me this. Have-based grandpa. Sadly, he passed away. Before he died, he loved spending his time at his cabin. Did some hunting and fishing up there. Spent the lonelier hours playing chess all by himself. After Grandpa dies, Dad rummages through the cabin for anything that might be of sentimental or financial value. One thing he leaves behind is Grandpa's chess set. It's a cheap one anyway, and not worth anything. Dad comes back a few times to check on the cabin. Finds the chess set open, with pieces on it. It's like that each time he visits. Dad thinks it must be squatters, or some disrespectful campers or hikers breaking in and using the cabin without permission. Decides to spend a week there to scare off anybody who might be using the cabin on the sly. Puts away the chess set. Passes the night there. Next morning, the chess set is open again. Set up with the pieces as though someone were playing during the night. Dad thinks, not good. Figures these must be some pretty brazen intruders. Feels lucky they did not attack him. He is confused though, because he locked the front door, and the back door makes a ton of noise when opened, so he knows he would have heard that. Fast forward to that night. Dad does not sleep. Stays up all night by the front door with his gun in his lap. The entire night, his attention is focused out the front window. He is not worried about the back because, again, he knows he will hear anyone trying to come in through that door long before they actually get inside. All night, nothing happens. When morning comes, Dad is ready for some shut-eye. He gets out of his chair, turns around to head to his room. There on the table, in the same room he has been sitting in all night, just behind his chair, is the chess set. It's open, with the pieces set up on the top. Basic training at Lackland AFB. 2 to 3 a.m. had to piss. Jump out of bunk. Say hello to the fire guards. Basically, just 2-hour shift trainees must always be on watching the door to practice entry controller procedures. Take a piss. Return to bunk. As I'm laying down, facing down the center row and out into the darkness of the barracks, I saw someone in full PT gear sprint down the center row and disappear into the darkness. Did not make a single noise. Freaked me the fuck out because of how fast it happened and that the dude made no noise. Jump up to ask fire guards if anyone else was in the bathroom / had been walking around. I was the only dude in hours that had been awake. Found out later that only a few months prior, some trainee hung himself in the bathroom of our barracks.